and I believed love was meant to be the ultimate sanctuary, a burning refuge you dashed into when the world outside froze to ice. The belief that I had finally discovered this elusive person meant for me, I thought, was fulfilled with Claire. She was far more than my companion, beyond the one I dreamed to stand beside for every day of my life. Or at least, that is what I convinced myself to believe within the elaborate fiction she so carefully wove around me anyway. I encountered her at a bustling conference in Chicago, both of us chasing completely different pursuits. My startup was exhibiting a product demo, and she was reporting the story for an up-and-coming tech blog. The fitted navy blazer, the poised notepad, all of it seemed like armor. Whenever Claire walked into a room, it wasn't simply entering, it was a force pulling everyone into her orbit. That undeniable magnetism struck me the moment she came to my booth, hurled sharp questions, then laughed at my sarcastic quip about tech bros and their AI doomsday cults. We descended into the hotel bar that same night for a drink. I opened up about the company I had built from absolute zero, the small apartment I was painstakingly renovating, and my ambition of one day expanding into a real estate empire. She revealed that this job was a new, calmer path for her. Once an investigative journalist, she had burned out from relentlessly chasing scandals and had taken this gig for balance. She smiled softly, saying I seemed grounded, that she liked the solidity of that. I trusted her completely. Over the following 3 years, we constructed what I assumed was a true partnership. She moved into my apartment 6 months after we started dating. My space transformed into ours. Then she sprinkled it with eccentric throw pillows I never would have picked, a record player too deliberately vintage, and an espresso machine so extravagant it intimidated me into using it rarely. She turned the walls into a home, and I sank even deeper into her spell. We planned vacations across oceans. We drew sketches of a wedding in Italy with a honeymoon in Bali. She began to raise talk of children, not immediate, but not far off either. Jeremy, as done by nothing, her eyes shimmered with delight whenever she envisioned the luminous promise of what lay ahead. She spoke my last name with a tone of possession, as if already carved in marble. To me, it felt entirely inevitable. Yet betrayal doesn't arrive like a lightning strike. It seeps in quieter, like stepping into a room that should echo with laughter, but instead collapses into silence, stretching pauses across the floor until you realize something vital is missing. The first fracture appeared when I noticed how often she traveled for work. I had known journalism demanded erratic schedules and ever-changing assignments, yet Claire's disappearances grew too frequent and then alarmingly consistent. Conferences, urgent op-eds, interviews far across the country. Whenever I asked, she cupped my face in her hands and whispered, "You know I'll never lie to you, right?" And I believed, because trust had always been the only way I knew how to love. Then the texts arrived. One night after midnight, I mistakenly picked up her phone. The same model, identical case as mine. I wasn't snooping. I only wanted to silence it while I tried to sleep. But then I froze when I saw the preview lighting up her lock screen. "Last night was everything. I'm still tasting you. Same time next weekend?" From someone named Nate. My pulse didn't quicken. It flatlined. Time halted. I stared at those words, daring them to vanish when I blinked. Knowing her passcode, I unlocked the phone and uncovered not one message, but an entire second existence carefully tucked away. There were photos, voice recordings, conversations spanning months, maybe longer. Nicknames foreign to me, locations I had never been told about, weekends when she claimed to be in D.C., visiting another writer. She wrote to Nate about maybe relocating to Austin. They joked about making things official soon when everything gets real. And to justify me, she told him I was only a friend who was helping her out for the moment. Just a friend. My body remembered how to walk, though my mind collapsed. I set her phone back on the nightstand, drifted numbly into the kitchen. The world felt distorted. The fridge hummed steadily. The clock ticked louder than thunder. The coffee mug I had left in the sink that morning, crusted with stale remains, stared back at me like an artifact of a life that was now a lie. She had kissed him before me that morning. That realization burned. I heard her stir in the bedroom. Her familiar shuffle, a muffled yawn she always tried to suppress. Then her voice drifted, casual and unknowing. "You okay, babe?" I remained silent. She ambled in, hair tousled, eyes heavy, unaware her stage was collapsing. The woman standing there was not Claire. Or rather, it was Claire, but cloaked in someone else's skin. I kept my voice steady. "I saw your messages." She froze. A flicker twitched near her right eye. Not remorse, not even shock. Just the primal fear of being exposed. Her mouth opened, words tumbling with rehearsed smoothness. I can explain." I shook my head, voice low. "No excuses. I want the truth." It unraveled slowly. A year and a half ago, she had met Nate at a journalism mixer in Austin. He was a creative director. Their chemistry sparked instantly. She fell for him unintentionally, she claimed, but she swore she still loved me. She was lost, divided, trying to solve an impossible puzzle. I demanded, "So were you planning to marry me while sleeping with him?" Silence. In that void, everything disintegrated. I didn't scream. I didn't smash things. I packed her belongings. Every shirt, every obnoxious mug, every photograph containing the illusion of us. I boxed it and set it by the door. She sobbed. She pleaded. She swore she couldn't bear losing me. "You made me the backup plan, and in that moment, you lost me," I told her. When she left, I crumbled. The agony wasn't just in losing her. It was realizing I had never truly possessed her. Every "I love you," every kiss replayed in my mind, hollow echoes. She had been building one future with me while secretly laying bricks for another. Therapy caught me before the abyss. It forced me to quit drowning myself in alcohol, at least briefly. I hit the gym like it owed me a debt. For months, I avoided dating, distrusted everyone, barely spoke. Friends swore I'd heal. Family insisted I'd escaped lightly. But a heart ripped out and worn as a mask by another does not heal with kindness. It hardens into a rebellion against ruin. 9.5 months later, her name appeared in my inbox. The subject line: "None." The message: "I'm sorry. I made a huge mistake. I think about you every day. I left Nate. I'm lost. Can we talk?" I stared at it until my screen blurred. It lingered there like an unhealed wound pried open again. I never replied. She had chosen her path, and now she was chained to it. Love, I realized, is never guaranteed. It's a choice, a sacred daily vow. Choose deceit, and you surrender the right to be someone's forever. She forged a fantasy with him while drawing blueprints for a future with me. In truth, I was destined to become just another shadow behind the ruins of her fractured dream. For months, love no longer conjured her image. It conjured me, the man who stayed loyal while his world collapsed beneath betrayal. The man who walked away, not because his love died, but because he finally learned to love himself more. And that, I discovered, is the only true escape from betrayal.